Hello, hello, hello. Hi everyone. Welcome to a new live stream. Bienvenidos a un nuevo en vivo. ¿Cómo están? Espero que estén muy bien. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing well. So today, guys, we are going to talk about something really interesting. We're gonna talk about a specific tense, the conditional tense. And this one is, I would say it's not that tricky, but it could be tricky for sure. But before we get started, guys, don't forget to subscribe and also click on the bell icon so you can get notified every time I live stream. I also want to give a big shout out to our members, to our Cafecito members. Big shout out to Antonio Herrera, William Lopez, David Beaver, KS, Philip Hiles, and Sungwen Chi. I believe that's the pronunciation of the last name. Sorry for butchering the name, but I'm trying my best. Thank you guys for your support. That's greatly appreciated. I really appreciate it a lot. It means the world to me. Thank you for supporting this channel. To all our Cafecito members. Thank you. If you want me to give you a shout out and if you want to support this channel, you can click on the join button down below. So you can check out the membership that we have on this channel. It's a very cheap membership. It's like less than $3. I believe so. Yeah, less than $3. So it's very cheap, and you get some perks. You get daily Spanish word of the day images. Well, I post that on the community tab for members. So I have an image with the word, the Spanish word, and also some example. And that's one of the perks. And that's the main one, I believe so. But I can add more. So who knows? Maybe we'll have more perks in the future. Okay, so another way to support this channel is by giving this video a like. That helps me a lot. So if you can, please do so. If you like what I do, of course. And we are live streaming, so you can use the live chat. Feel free to use the live chat. I see already some people on the live chat. Will is in the house. William Lopez. Llegué a casa. Todavía tengo cosas de mi trabajo para hacer. Okay, that's interesting. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, I mean, work never ends. I know that. I hear you. Okay, Ume Calamay. Estoy esperando. Yep, that's correct. Will says, hola, sugar. Yeah, hola, Will. Bienvenidos. Also, KS is in the house. Compraría un coche, pero el dinero es apretado. Apretado or escaso. Escaso, I think that's a better Spanish word for that. But yeah, I hear you too. Like, I know everything is so expensive for sure. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Okay, so let's get started, guys. Let's talk about the conditional tense. This was requested by KS, I believe. And thank you for asking for that, KS. I think that's an important topic. When learning Spanish, you need to know this tense for sure. Conditional tense, specifically for regular verbs, okay? In a future lesson, we can talk about conditional tense for irregular verbs, which is not that difficult. But for now, I just want to focus on regular verbs, okay? So regular verbs follow a pattern every time you need to conjugate them. So yeah, we'll talk about that today. And also, conditional tense in Spanish is el tiempo condicional. El tiempo condicional. Also, we will be talking about the indicative mood, the most basic mood in Spanish. And so yeah, later on we can talk about other moods and so on. But that's a long topic. That's a very not complicated topic, but there's a lot of information about that for sure. Okay, so conditional tense. What is this good for? We have this in English as well. And you usually say, I would like to do something, but whatever, right? So the I would and then the verb, that is conditional. It's we have that in Spanish as well. And the conditional tense, as it says here, the conditional tense, just let me change the color to red. The conditional tense, or el tiempo condicional, okay, that's in Spanish, is mainly used for hypothetical situations, okay, also actions, and for polite requests, and also wishes. So if you have some situations where you want to ask something politely, or if you want to express a wish or some hypothetical situation or action, you can use the conditional tense, okay? And also you can use it if you would like to do something but you can't, you know, so it's conditional. There's some conditions. So yes, that's very, very interesting. And Rishi's in the house as well. Hola a todos. Rishi, welcome. Okay. Now, we have a lot of text here. Now, let's talk about the use or uses of this tense, okay? So, as I said before, the conditional tense, or el tiempo condicional, is about probability, possibility, wonder, you know, and it's usually translated as would, could, or should, okay? The most common word is would in English, okay? Would. So it's very similar to this in Spanish, would, okay? But we don't have would. We have a specific conjugation for the verbs, okay? And let me tell you that, as I said before, you can use this tense for polite requests. For example, you could say, ¿podrías ayudarme? ¿Podrías ayudarme? This means, could you help me? In this situation, podrías means could, okay? ¿Podrías ayudarme? Could you help me? Okay? ¿Podrías ayudarme? Could you help me? So if you want to ask something politely, podrías is very, very useful. And that verb is conjugated in conditional tense. Poder is the regular verb, just without conjugating it. And podrías is the conjugated version of, or the conjugated verb in conditional tense. Okay, so also you can use the conditional tense to make a supposition, okay? So for example, llegaría tarde. ¿Está bien? Llegaría tarde. ¿Está bien? This means I would arrive late. Okay, is that okay? So llegaría is conjugated, of course. The verb is llegar. Llegaría is the conditional tense of this verb. Llegaría tarde. ¿Está bien? I would arrive late. Is that okay? So you are just letting people know, okay? Making a supposition in the situation. Okay, the next one is to express wishes. To express wishes. Me encantaría ir. Me encantaría ir. This means I would love to go. Again, in this situation, we're using would. I would love, or would love, it means, or encantaría means would love. Me encantaría ir. I would love to go. Okay, so if you want to express some wishes, remember that you can use the conditional tense for that. And also when you can't do something for some reason. This is the most common use of the conditional tense. When you can't do something for some reason. So usually you say, for example, you can say, compraría algo, pero no tengo dinero. And this means I would buy something, whatever something, but I don't have money. So in this situation, this is the most common use of the conditional tense. You're pretty much saying that you would do something, but you can't for some reason, okay? So this is very, very basic, very common, and very important to remember. Compraría, would buy, okay? That's what compraría means. And also, pero is a very useful word that means but. When you want to do something but you can't, pero is a very useful word as well. So you explain the reasons why you can't do something, okay? So the last one is to make suggestions. That's another use of the conditional tense. For example, you could say, deberías quedarte en casa. Deberías quedarte en casa. And this means you should stay home. And we can see that all the examples that we talked about, the conditional tense was, it's very similar to when you use could, would, and should, okay? Like I said up here. So that's like something very similar in English and the conditional tense in Spanish, okay? So the most common word for using the conditional tense, or for you to understand how the conditional tense works in Spanish, is would, okay? This word is the most important one to remember, because when you conjugate in conditional tense in English, you say I would like, he would like, and so on. So that is conditional tense in Spanish. Compraría, me gustaría, and so on. But you know what? Those are the uses of the conditional tense. Now let's talk about the conjugation, because that is the most important thing about this topic. Okay. Remember that the modo indicativo, or the indicative mood, talks, it's about actions, events, or states that are believed to be facts or true. So it's just plain. So we're talking about actions, events, facts, and true, something that is true, okay? Tiempo condicional. That is, do you remember what that means? Conditional tense. Okay, so in Spanish, we have very common verbs that end with ar, ir. Okay, so those, pretty much every verb in Spanish can end in ar or or ir. Okay, so these two letters over here, ar. In this case, this Spanish verb is regular, so it follows a pattern, and the pronunciation is amar, okay? And this means to love. So there's a bunch of Spanish verbs that end in ar or ar, okay? For example, caminar, estudiar, hablar, okay? And today we're talking about amar, amar. So if you look at the verb, you should pay attention. You should pay attention at the ending, okay? Ar. In this case, is ar. Okay, so amar means to love. Now, these words over here, they're personal pronouns, and if you don't know them, I suggest you just browse my channel and you can find I think you can find a lesson about personal pronouns. But anyways, yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, vosotros, ustedes, ellos, and ellas. Those are the Spanish personal pronouns. Now, if you want to conjugate amar in tiempo condicional, then you have to pretty much leave the verb as it is, okay? So amar, amar, and just use it as it is. And then you have to add some endings, okay? Some letters after. So for example, the first personal pronoun, yo amaría, amaría, okay? So the ending here is ia with an accent mark on top of the letter I, okay? And yo amaría means I would love, okay? So that's very, very simple. I would love. And then for the personal pronoun tú, you would say amarías, amarías, okay? Once again, similar ending. You only have to add an S at the end. Amarías. And remember, all the conjugation, like all these words, there's an accent mark on top of the letter E in Spanish or I in English, okay? Remember that. You need that accent mark. So, él or ella, remember, él, oh, tú amarías, by the way, means you would love. You would love. Él means he, ella means she, and the conjugation is amaría. Él amaría, he would love. Ella amaría, she would love. Okay? So it's very similar to the first ending. The next one is usted. Usted means you, and it's polite. Okay? Usted. So if you don't know the person, you would use this personal pronoun and all the conjugation for that personal pronoun. If you are talking to someone older than you, you should use usted because you need to be respectful, of course. So, usted amaría. Usted amaría. So, it's very similar to the previous conjugation over here. Usted amaría. That means you would love. Okay? The next one is nosotros amaríamos. Nosotros amaríamos. And that means we would love. Nosotros means we, and amaríamos means would love. Okay? Amaríamos. Accent marks. Remember that. Well, you only need one per conjugated verb, but you know what I mean. Okay, vosotros. This is something that I get asked about constantly on the channel. Some people leave comments saying, what about vosotros? Vosotros, why are you not including vosotros? And I didn't in the past because vosotros is only used in Spain. So if you want to learn everything about Spain and also the way they speak, the words and all of that, then you will need to know about vosotros. I have a lesson about that, by the way. But vosotros means you, plural, okay? You're talking to a group of people, and this one is only used in Spain. We don't use this in Latin America, okay? So you know. Okay, vosotros amaríais. Vosotros amaríais. Okay, this means you would love. Once again, that you is plural. Ustedes amarían. Ustedes amarían. Ustedes is similar to vosotros, but the only difference is that ustedes is used in Latin America, not in Spain. So ustedes means you, also plural. Amarían, would love, okay? Vosotros amaríais, that's for Spain. Ustedes amarían, that's for Latin America, okay? So the next one is ellos. Ellos and ellas. Ellos means they, and that's masculine. Ellas, they, and feminine. Ellos amarían, or ellas amarían. That means they would love. Okay, so that is the conjugation. And you see in orange all the endings, okay, that you need. So they're all quite similar. Ia, ias, ia, íamos, iais, ian, okay? So you need to know that. If you want to conjugate amar or any verb, regular Spanish verb ending in AR, like this one, you need to know that you take the verb as it is and then add the endings. Okay, so that is very simple. For example, another verb would be hablar. Yo hablaría, tú hablarías, él hablaría, and so on. So that's very, very easy. Super easy, don't you think? Okay, now let's talk about verbs ending in ER or er. And it's pretty much the same thing, guys. If you see the previous one and this one, it's pretty much the same endings. Yeah, it's very much the same. So there's not much difference. But just because it will be nice to talk about different kinds of verbs, you know, verbs ending in ar, verbs ending in er, verbs ending in ir. Let's just talk about that. Let's just conjugate those three different kinds of verbs, okay? So beber means to drink. Could be any drink, okay? Water, cerveza, anything. Okay, so beber, to drink. Now, let's conjugate it. Remember, just take the verb as it is and then just add the endings. So the conjugation is yo bebería. Yo bebería. I would drink. Tú beberías. Tú beberías. You would drink. Él or ella bebería. Oops, you can't see. Bebería. He or she would drink. Usted bebería. Usted bebería. That means you would drink. Nosotros beberíamos. Nosotros beberíamos. That means we would drink. Vosotros beberíais. Vosotros beberíais. You would drink. Ustedes beberían. Ustedes beberían. You would drink. And ellos or ellas beberían. Beberían. This means they would drink. Okay, so that's another easy conjugation right there. We conjugated the verb beber in conditional tense, in the conditional tense, tiempo condicional. So it's pretty much the same endings. Not a big deal. You know, it's nothing different, nothing too difficult. Now, the last one, the last verb, vivir. This verb ends in ir, vivir, okay? And this is important to know when conjugating in different tenses in Spanish, present tense, pretty tense, and future tense. So it's very, very important to know about those identifying these verbs, because the endings change. Sometimes you need to get rid of the last two words and then you conjugate the verb. Usually that happens in present tense. But in the conditional tense, you don't need to do anything to the verb. So that's something good. That's something good. Now, as you can see, we have the same endings. I believe so. The same ending. So that is something good. We don't have to remember anything crazy, okay? So you pretty much conjugate the verb vivir just like you did beber and amar. Just leave the verb as it is and then add the endings, the orange endings in this situation. Okay, yo viviría. Oops, what happened? Yo viviría. Yo viviría. This means I would live. Okay? For example, if you're saying yo viviría aquí, yo viviría en esta casa, pero está muy cara. La renta está muy cara. So that means you would live at whatever house, but the rent is too expensive. Okay, so the conditional tense can be very useful. Okay, the next one is tú vivirías. Oops, tú vivirías. Tú vivirías. You would live. Or live, yeah. Él viviría or ella viviría. He or she would live. The next one is usted viviría. Usted viviría. You would live. Nosotros viviríamos. Nosotros viviríamos. Viviríamos. That's a bit complicated to pronounce. Viviríamos. 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 Nosotros viviríamos. We would live. Vosotros viviríais. Viviríais. Yeah, it gets complicated to pronounce with certain verbs, but it's not too bad. Vosotros viviríais. This means you would live. And, well, we have two more. Ustedes vivirían. Ustedes vivirían. You would live. And the last one, ellos vivirían or ellas vivirían. That means they would live. So far so good. And I think that's it because it's not complicated. It's pretty good. It's pretty basic. And I think the conditional tense is one of the easiest to use in Spanish. Okay, so there's no complications. You just need to remember. You need to remember the endings ia, ias, ia, íamos, iais, ian, ian. So that's it. That's it, guys. And we can talk in a future lesson about irregular verbs. And also, I don't know if you have any more suggestions for me to talk about for a future lesson or in a future lesson, just let me know. Do you have any questions about this tense? I don't think it's difficult at all. I think it's one of the easiest ones to use in Spanish. And remember, you can use this in different situations. If you want to do something but you can't, if you're expressing wishes, if you want to suggest something for polite requests. Obviously, podrías is a very good verb if you want to ask for something or request something. For example, you could say, ¿podrías hablar acerca de? And that means, could you talk about something, right? Like you could ask politely. If you want me to talk about something in Spanish, you can say, ¿podrías hablar acerca de? And that is a great way to ask for something in Spanish. It's very polite. So You can practice. You can practice that for sure. Okay, so I see Trent in... okay. Él. I see someone on the live chat. Él. Yo estoy estudiando español. That's great. That's great. Welcome, by the way. Que yes, mi vida debería ser mejor que esto or esto. I'm not sure what you wanted to say. Like when you're saying esto, you could say que esto, and that's similar to saying my life should be better than this. Right? That sounds very tragic, very dramatic. Trent in Tampa. Doy regalos a María que a María. Oh, that sounds like a tongue twister for sure. Welcome, Trent. Also, Trent says, bebé bebía muchas bebidas. Yeah, I think that those are tongue twisters. Trent also viviría en la Riviera si pudiera. That's a different, yeah, podría. I think that's something about be rotten or something. Something going bad or spoiled. Something like that, I believe so. Will says, viviría, bebería e iría en el Caribe. Oh, el Caribe sounds great. Viviría, bebería e iría. Yeah, but are you saying that you would leave, would drink, would go to el Caribe? Okay, but is there a but? Is there a but there? Because remember, that's something very common in Spanish when using the conditional tense. There's a but, there's a but. What's you would like to do something, but you can't. Or remember, if you want to express wishes, me encantaría ir. Okay, so that's a more complete sentence. If you say, compraría un carro, I would buy a car. Okay, but why? Like, why aren't you buying the car? What's the problem? So yeah, we need to pay attention to the phrases and what we want to say. But yeah, you did a great job, Will, conjugating viviría, bebería, e iría. Yeah. Umei, have we done with reflexive verbs? Ooh, reflexive verbs. Ooh. You can use the conditional tense with reflexive verbs. For example, this one right here, me encantaría. That is a bit reflexive there. Remember, reflexive verbs is something that you would do to yourself, or like the verb is, for example, if you say me lavo las manos, I wash my hands. Me lavé las manos. That's also some reflexive verb. Some verbs can be reflexive, some verbs can't, but most of them can be reflexive. We can talk about that in a future lesson because that's a whole thing. I did that lesson for Cerveza members. I remember that, but I think I'll talk about that because that membership is gone. So yeah, I can talk about reflexive verbs and all of that. I will. Umei, thank you for asking that. Have we done with reflexive verbs? We're not done with reflexive verbs. I don't think we have ever started. But we will talk about that for sure. Will says, Cuando tienes un verbo después de I, tenemos que usar E, ¿correcto? For example, Will, can you tell me or can you show me an example? Because I'm not sure. Cuando tienes un verbo después de I, tenemos que usar E. Oh, okay. I think I got it. Just let me drink some water. Okay, it's usually E can mean E as well. So E and E can have they have the same meaning. Depends on the situation, but commonly like E and E mean and. Okay? And if you have, for example, in Spanish, if you have a word that the first letter is E or E in Spanish, and I believe, yeah, when you have words, for example, iglesia means church in Spanish, and the first letter is the letter I, iglesia. Let me see if I can show you here really quickly. Okay, so let's use this, for example. Okay, so if you have a list, let's say, voy al trabajo. No, I'm trying to find an example. Trying to find a different word that begins with the letter I in Spanish. Can you tell me one? Because I can't think. I thought of iglesia. Iglesia, that means church. But I want to find a different iglesia. For example, it's something random. Not if you're listing something, words, right? So usually you could say this means work and church. Okay? Work and church. But the tricky thing here is that, or maybe you're thinking, why aren't you using E? Trabajo y iglesia. Okay? When you're saying those words. The reason why we have to use E is because we have this letter here, iglesia. So in Spanish, we like things to flow nicely. So if we say trabajo y iglesia, we're saying y twice. Trabajo y iglesia. So every time you have a Spanish word that has the letter E, or that's in Spanish, or letter I in English, you gotta, at the beginning of the word, of course, you have to use E, okay? Trabajo e iglesia. If we had this the other way around, like iglesia y trabajo, that's fine. That's correct. But if we have it the other way around, you have to use e iglesia, okay? So if you have a Spanish word that has the letter I at the beginning, then you have to say e iglesia, not y iglesia. That's wrong. You have to say e iglesia, okay? So I believe that's what you wanted me to explain. Well, I believe so. Let's see. Que yes, ¿te gustaría hacer tiempo futuro? ¿Hablar del tiempo futuro? Uh, if I would like to talk about the future tense in Spanish, I think we did that already, didn't we? And for Cerveza members, but I can talk about, yeah, I still need to do that. Hang on, I think I already have a lesson about the future tense in Spanish. So if you want to check that out on my channel, there's already a lesson. Maybe we can talk about that in the future. But we'll see, KS. Will, pero no tengo dinero. Okay, that's the but. Viviría, bebería e iría al Caribe. I think al Caribe sounds better. Well, depends. Viviría en el Caribe. Bebería en el Caribe. Iría al Caribe. Okay? So that's tricky. But yeah, if you say viviría, bebería e iría al Caribe, pero no tengo dinero. Yes, I mean, money. It's always money, huh? I know, I hear you. Okay, Umei, podría darte mi brazar y besar. Okay, that's quite an interesting phrase. Podría abrazarte y besarte. Yeah, we need to talk about reflexive verbs for sure. Que yes, iría de vacaciones. Solo necesito la pandemia para ser terminado. Okay, so I need to rephrase that. I would say, iría de vacaciones. Solo necesito que la pandemia se termine. I only need the pandemic to be over. Okay, I would go on vacation, but I only need the pandemic to be over. Solo necesito que la pandemia se acabe. Yes, that's a great example. Yeah, Trent, fuego. No, remember, if the word starts with the letter I and hielo starts with the letter H. Okay, so fuego y hielo. But you were almost correct, Trent. Thank you for sharing that. Will, disculpa, pregunté de forma incorrecta. Gracias por explicar. You're welcome. De nada, Will. I'm glad that I was able to explain that. DJ Senor, idioma. Idioma, that will be, yeah. Idioma. Well, if we're using again, but idioma, that means language. Umei, ice cream, jejeje. Ice cream, helado. Will, me gusta visitar teatros e iglesias. Exactly. You got it. Me gusta visitar teatros e iglesias. Perfect. That's a great example, Will. You got it. I see. Someone Chi, I believe. I'm always like, I'm worried about the pronunciation of your name, Sung. I hope I did it correctly. If not, I'm sorry. I apologize. And I'm glad you are here. Thank you for tuning in. And yeah, welcome. Umei, sorry. What is the right sentence on my end? Podría darte mi abrazar y besa. Okay, so I'm not sure what you want to say, but it sounds like you are saying podría abrazarte y besarte if you're saying darte. It's like you're saying that you would like to give someone something, right? In this case, if you're talking to someone directly, you're saying podría darte un beso y abrazarte. So that's a different way to phrase it. And that means I would kiss you and hug you. But I'm not sure if you want to say that. Podría darte. You could also say podría besarte y abrazarte. Okay? So that's the same thing. I could kiss you and hug you. Okay, yes, disfrutar la vida. A disfrutar la vida. That's correct. That's correct. Okay, so that's it, guys. I'm glad that you made it, that you were talking with me about Spanish and the conditional tense. Remember to practice, guys. You gotta practice, and that's the only way for you to master what you're learning in Spanish. Remember to do that. And also remember, if you're not subscribed, just subscribe. That's free. And also click on the bell icon so you get notified every time I live stream. Also, when you click on that bell icon, you need to activate all the notifications so you get notified every time I do this every week on Tuesday around 7 p.m. Eastern time, 7 or 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. So you can do that. And you can watch me on Tuesday. And yeah, that's it. If you want to support this channel, please remember to check out the membership. You only need to click on the join button down below. And the membership is something very cheap, and you get some perks when getting one. So that supports this channel a lot, and you would be helping me creating or create more lessons, more Spanish lessons for free for you guys. Okay. Thank you again to all my members, to all my Cafecito members. Thank you for the coffee. It's delicious, and the support is amazing. Thank you so much. Umei says, I could give you a hug and a kiss. That what it means. That what it means. Okay. Yeah, it's the same thing as I said before. Podría darte un beso y un abrazo. That's a different way to say it. There's so many different ways to say the same thing in Spanish. You could also say podría abrazarte y besarte. Podría darte un beso y un abrazo. Podría darte un beso y abrazarte. So there's so many different ways to say something in Spanish, and it's pretty cool to talk about that. But that's it for today, guys. Thank you again. Take care. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Adios. Bye-bye.